Any IPL enthusiasts in the room? Yes? So sports are no more a reason for our entertainment. And this reason for entertainment, just a reason for entertainment, and this reason of entertainment has become a full-fledged business ecosystem in itself. It's a thriving business, a global industry, and an arena of immense opportunity. From sponsorships and broadcasting to tech-driven fan engagement and athlete branding, the business of sports is evolving like never before. But what does it take to play to win in this competitive industry? How are entrepreneurs, investors, and innovators shaping the future of sports business? Are you excited to get some insights about the business of sports? Well, for this, we have a fireside chat coming up for you. And this fireside chat brings a leader from the sports ecosystem as a guest speaker to share insights on growth, strategy, and the game behind the game. Get ready for an exciting discussion on the business of sports. May I invite our guest speaker, Mr. Utsav Parekh, Chairman, SMIFS Capital Markets Limited. A big round of applause for Mr. Utsav Parekh, please. And in conversation with him will be Mr. Prashant.K. Gulati, Chairman Emeritus, TiE Dubai. Let's hear it for them. Thank you so much, sir. Over to you.
Utsav, it's my exceptional pleasure and privilege to have you on stage with me and to be able to ask questions which I haven't asked you before. So thank you very much for coming here today. And we're going to talk about not Utsav Parekh, the businessman, Utsav Parekh, the eminent person of Calcutta, but we're going to talk about a different facet of your, personality. So my first question is, why sport? How did you get into sport, for God's sake? And I don't know if it makes money. Does it make money or other businesses make tons more money?
So PK, before I go into this, let me give my thanks to TiE for inviting me here. I see some very familiar faces out here. Kamal, Hari. So once again, thanks. And it's a subject which I'm very passionate about. I am a deep sports enthusiast. I can't say I played at any game at the national level, but I'm a very fond sportsman, and therefore I'm enjoying this opportunity of sharing with you my views on sports. So what you said, why sports? And it just landed out of the blue. It all started in 2014. Till that time, sports, yes, I used to go to enjoy. I would go and watch all the cricket matches, some football matches. But in 2014, the concept of football came and a new league was floated called the ISL, the Indian Super League. And one of my colleagues and partners said that, why don't you join us? Mr. Harsh Neotia and Mr. Sanjeev Goenka, and then Mr. Saurav Ganguly. So that started the journey in 2014 with football. So if you say why sports? Sports because of the passion. Because of my love and affection for it, I got into it. And of course, always thought that it will be interesting, it will be a business at some stage, but let's give it a try. So that was how the journey started.
Well, like any other businessman, he chose a very good area of work. Let me give you some statistics. Just for an idea, I don't know if you understand what the business of sports size in India is. So India's sports sector is on track to reach $130 billion of revenue by 2030.
That's a staggering amount, and I was not sure about this. But
and then it's growing at twice the rate of GDP every year. So it's actually an exceptional area to invest in. So as an enthusiast, you ended up on a very lucrative end of the spectrum in that. And also, it is projected to create 10.5 million new jobs by 2030. So in the area of AI, when we are talking about where the jobs are coming from, probably this is one of the areas which will give a lot of jobs.
Definitely. And what has transpired over the years is that sports is no longer, okay, it's there and we can go there. Now you can get quality, you can enjoy the hospitality. And today people go to a sports stadium to enjoy. It's an enjoyment for them. They see the sport, and also at the same time, it's an experience. Today, you go to Dubai, you go to a European football game. It's an experience, and therefore, as years have gone by, sports has evolved. I'm staggered at the number which PK just now mentioned, but I must say that even you all have been going to various sports facilities at some stage or the other. But over the years, every year there has been an improvement in the quality, there's been an improvement in what you get back by going there. No longer it's effort, now it's a pleasure to go there. So I feel sports has arrived, and sports as a business has definitely arrived.
So let me give you further numbers, which will be even more staggering. So it's estimated that it is going to be $52 billion in the year 2023. The numbers are being calculated and finished. The sports industry is now larger than established sectors in terms of growth, like telecom. It is growing at a compounded annual growth rate of 14% and is going to outpace sectors like tourism and automotive.
Staggering, staggering. Thank God that I'm somewhere there.
And then, how many people in this room actually follow a team or are officially fans of something or the other? IPL, ISL, global football teams. So let me give you the numbers of fans. India has 65 million sports fan and counting, and 36% of them are female. So it's an exceptionally big market for people focusing on that.
I can vouch on that, and maybe I'll share a few anecdotes on that subject. You'll be surprised, I mean, guys, you being from this part of the country, you know how football is and how rowdy the football fans are. You will be shocked that the number of female fans who go and watch an ISL football game in the stadium here at Salt Lake is staggering. Yesterday, I'll share with you, yesterday I met a lady at a function, and she said, I'm a great fan of Mohan Bagan and I go and watch every match. So I said, ma'am, whenever you want, I'll send you the VIP tickets for sure. You please let me know. He said, no, I want to go and sit in the stands and enjoy the atmosphere of what it is. And this is a lady, I mean, it's staggering, and this is not one single episode. There are many such episodes that I have encountered over the past few years. So women have taken a front seat during the IPL season, and I can vouch, my wife would turn around and say that, my dear, please don't make any program for the next 45 days. I don't want to go out. We can call for dinners, we can call friends over, but going out is a strict no-no. So that just goes to prove.
You know that also another staggering number is of the 655 million fans that I told you in India, 236 million or 38%, 36% are women, but 282 million, which is like 43%, is Gen Z. So it means that we are actually teaching good sport or getting the interest of youngsters, which in my opinion is exceptional, because the bigger problem that we keep saying is they watch just
serials
or their phones, nothing else. So obviously they're watching something bigger than sports, bigger than their screens.
Well, this is interesting, and I'm really fascinated by the numbers that you've been reeling out. And it's great that we have arrived. You know, I feel it's time that people, the average people, look at sports as a business and not as a media or as a medium of entertainment. They should also convert it into business. You'll be surprised. So I am part of the trustee in a college over here called Bhawanipur College. And last year, somebody came and said that I want to start a course for event management. And can you allow me to do it at the college? Okay, fine, started. She runs a batch, it's a 9-month course. She runs a batch of about 25 or 30 people. She said, my entire batch has been taken over by IPL. My entire students are going at some stage or the other, at some match or the other for the IPL. And they get paid, they enjoy the work, and it is interesting for them. So business of sports is paying, business of sports is entertaining, and business of sports is enjoyment.
So let's come to ISL. So that is something which you were a part of the original formation. You know, people have talked about football leagues for a very long time. India has been not as much, in fact, cricket has overpowered most sports here. Despite the fact that Calcutta and Mohun Bagan are almost synonymous, people who did not know anything about football, they knew about Mohun Bagan.
Yes.
Mohun Bagan and Dempo were two names I used to read
You're
every
absolutely
morning.
right.
So tell us about that, like with a rich football history that Mohun Bagan has, its legacy and the need for modernization and connected it to the global ecosystem is an important thing. How do you think about it?
PK, what an interesting question. I think that what you just said actually changed the entire history of football in this city. Legacy is great to read in the books, history, that in the year I did this, and in the year I did that, and that year I did this. But it's not going to help you today. What happened with Mohun Bagan was Sanjeev Goenka came up to the Mohun Bagan. He's the principal shareholder of the club. So he came up and he gave this concept that, Utsav, why don't you speak to them and do some kind of a merger with them? They carry the legacy, they carry the fan, but let the operating part of the club be given to us. We will modernize, we will spend money, and we will develop it in the right perspective. And we had a few meetings, and finally we came to some conclusion, and we arrived at a consensus whereby the entire footballing management, footballing revenues, everything came to us, to the club. We gave them a percentage stake in the company. But what it did was, like earlier, they would win 1 year, they would lose 5 years. We have had one of the most successful careers in the history of ISL. We have won 6 times the league. And we have been champions twice running. Last year and this year also we are the champions. The thing is, what Sanjeev brought to the table was professionalism, was a direction. You know, you made a very, very interesting word. You said, play to win. I put it into 3 perspectives. Play to win, play to play, and play to be relevant. Play to play, I mean, the teams go onto the field, they enjoy, they come out, and the chapter is over. Play to be relevant is that, okay, I'll play so that people remember me. It is the play to win which makes the difference.
Correct.
Today, what has come to us, or what the professionalism has brought to the table, is the zeal play to win. It changes the entire perspective. It brings the model of business into sports. It makes people who are playing also responsible, that don't just play this so that you enjoy the game and the rest of us are crying at the end of the game. Because you enjoyed it, you did some trick football shots. I didn't get a goal, but you showed off your skill. That's not the game. The game is that you do what you want, but at the end of the day, winning is important. So that's what was on the table. That's what Sanjeev brought to the table by doing all this.
And since you brought up the name of Sanjeev Goenka here, I also believe this brings the question of you didn't only do it to the football team, you actually then stepped into IPL. So, I was talking to him and I was saying that it's great. Kolkata did not have a cricket team in IPL, despite the fact Kolkata Knight Riders was a team. And now for the first time, Kolkata has a team. It happens to be the Lucknow team. So now that you're in there, so being on both sides, my question is, how important this step of getting into these kind of sports with people or traditional businessmen like you has meant to the modernization and making sport more relevant as a business?
So, one fundamental point, they say, if you throw peanuts, you get monkeys. Here, what he did was he put such a mega amount into the ring that it became a serious business. And at the time when actually this bid was happening, I was with Atul Bhai, we were in Dubai, the bid, I was involved in the bidding process, and the number which Sanjeev put was so staggering that everyone was shocked, including the BCCI officials.
By the way, it was approximately $950 million or almost 7,000 plus crores.
7,200 crores. But what people did not realize is that there was a huge business angle to it. There was a huge financial angle to it. The payout of this 7,200 crores is over 10 years. That is, you pay 720 crores every year. You get a certain amount of revenue from the pool, so you only pay the differential amount. Like for instance, last year the payout was maybe 450 or odd crores. This year it's going to be 500 crores. So net you end up paying probably 300 crores. I'm just rounding up the numbers. So in 10 years, if the media rights don't change, the media rights open up after 2 years. If they change, then the whole equation changes. But even assuming that the media rights continue, he would have bought this asset over a period of 10 years by paying, say, 300 crores, which after 10 years will give him a revenue every year on year in excess of 600, 700 crores. So what better business?
Yeah. So just to give you an idea, the media rights of IPL in 2023 went for $6.4 billion, which is about 4,900 odd crores. And
49,000 crores.
49,000 crores. And what is estimated is a growth of probably 50 to 70% at least in the next cycle, correct?
So then he's in the money from 2028. So again, as I said, the importance is just not of looking at sports as entertainment or enjoyment. It's the way you look at sports as a business. And with that objective in mind, it becomes a different story altogether. And luckily for us in India, cricket has actually got converted into what they say a religion. Yes, it's a religion. If my wife turns around and says that don't make a program for the next 45 days, I can understand where we are going.
Chaturmas is happening there, correct? So, just to give you an idea, since it's a startup, focused event, just to give you an idea of the Indian sport business and the technology landscape. Some numbers may stagger you if you haven't looked at it, and some of the startup founders who are looking for something to do may find something to do in this discussion. I shared these numbers with you earlier. India is the second largest sport tech market in the world. Just let it sink in. And I'm talking about, for example, things like e-sport and all that. We are actually the second largest market in the world. India also ranks second in the global tech investments by country since 2020. Which includes all the kind of investments that we're talking about. The total number of active global sports tech startups of value is estimated to be about 7,000, of which about 350 of them are from India. This makes us the third largest sports tech startup market in the world. About 10% of global unicorns in the sport tech space, which is 4 out of the 37 on the day of this report, are from India. Let me name you the first one. What is the number one unicorn in this space? Anybody? Dream 11. So you understand what I'm saying. So those are the kind of companies which have been created out of India purely. So this gives you an idea of what the size of this market and the opportunity for technology startups is in this space. Remember the 4 key pillars, and just to give you ideas of where sport tech investment is going, is in media rights. So, of course, we talked about IPL, there's ICC. The media rights, by the way, have a massive downstream startup business built in it. From OTT streaming, when Jio Hotstar streams it, there are at least 200 different companies which do small parts and things about it. When you get all those rollovers on it, it's done by somebody else, the amount of data, anecdotes, content creation, all that. There's a whole market of things out there. Of course, there's teams, what you talked about, teams and league valuations, which are the next. And then the infrastructure around that. There's also physical infrastructure. One of the areas where, in fact, I was talking to somebody from I will not name him so that he can decide if he wants to identify himself yesterday, who's actively investing in sports infrastructure companies. And I was surprised to understand from him that sports infrastructure, I always thought, if you're doing football fields, is land. And he actually came and said, hey, no, that's not important. Most of the land is the government's land anyway.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. And he showed me a list of government's requirement of tenders for this year. And what are those tenders for? Is for sports centers which are already allocated, funding has been allocated by Parliament, they have to be spent in this financial year of creating infrastructure in this country. Think about it. And the problem that he said was, the company that he was talking to just didn't have enough capability, physical capability, to do all those tenders. So they'll probably be done by multiple people because you can't physically do that. And then, of course, the most important one, which you alluded to, events and events around sports. IPL alone has put out the number of events which happen around it is a market by itself. So by all this put together, you seem to have stumbled on something which is exceptionally big.
You use the right word, stumble, because when we started, it was...
claim to stumble upon, I would say.
No, I can say that it was at that stage. The only thought process was that if IPL can be this big, why not ISL, and let's go for it. We knew that we are losing. Till today, we are losing money as far as ISL is concerned as a team. But it's going up. If you look at the average average fans who come to watch a ISL match in Kolkata is about 45,000. And when we have the so-called derby, which is Mohun Bagan versus East Bengal, not a single seat is empty. So it is, as I said, growing. It is, as I said, as we go forward, it will get converted into a paying business. But more importantly, it'll bring India into the forefront of sports. Otherwise, today we are only known as a country which plays cricket, which none of the world play. But the way we are going, the way we all would like to do with the commercialization of various leagues, every sports is getting converted into a league, whether it's a basketball, volleyball, kho-kho, kabaddi. So a few of them will fall by the wayside. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, the entire ecosystem of sports as a business is going to come to the forefront. And yes, like any startups, you try 10 startups, 3, 4, 5 will go the wayside. but 3 or 4 will be the success stories. Similarly, in the field of sports, it's going to be like that. But the ones that are going to go, look at the valuations of the IPL teams, where they started. I remember the most expensive 2008 franchisee was Mumbai at $130 million. Today, it is 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 billion. Mumbai would probably be valued at $2 billion. I wouldn't be surprised. So just look at it in a history of 18 years, from 100 to 135 to 2 billion. Where are we going? So you have to look at sports as a business. You have to look at play to win. Then you will get not only the valuation, you will get the satisfaction. Today, when our team wins and we get the trophy, it's a huge satisfaction also, and not necessarily just to us, to our fans, to our team, to everyone.
So I have a number for you which is interesting. ISL at the moment, if number of fans and viewership is any metric, has reached 25 to 27% of IPL. So IPL has about 620 million average viewership. ISL has reached 150 million average viewership.
I would 100% agree. And, as we are able to generate more and more cash from the business, we improve the things that are necessary, A, the infrastructure, and B, the quality of the players. So if a player starts getting, when we first started, the lowest pay to a player was 5 lakh rupees for the whole year. So the statement I made at that time to the league CEO, that at 5 lakh rupees, what will this poor guy, he has to play for the entire 12 months or 9 months, he has to feed his 2 children or 1, he has to look after his parents.
And his own health, his own nutrition, whatever.
So how will he do it? So I said the minimum you have to pay to a player should be kept at about 12 lakh rupees a year. So that he is just interested and solely focused on playing and improving.
Yeah, that's exceptional. Also, one of the, the biggest things that I believe the business of sport and its success will do to India is that we'll start seeing sports and being healthy and playing sports as a part of our life. We have always had sports as unorganized. It's becoming organized for our lives now. Our children go to sport and go to academies. Before that, it was almost like we play on the street, and some people do and some people don't. I think that change, in my opinion, is a payback of intangible value, which is probably bigger than the value that we're talking about.
It's a value given to the entire citizen of India. Today, you go anywhere, you will find either somebody is doing a walk, somebody is doing a jog, somebody is doing a yoga, somebody is doing an exercise. Everyone is looking towards physical fitness also. 30 years back, what I mean to say is look at the physical description of a cricketer.
Yes.
And today, you see a Virat Kohli, look at them, they are like athletes. So you are so right that sports has imbibed this culture pan-India for everyone.
Yeah. And also led to other, I'm sure there's somebody in here who was selling apparel, for example. We were talking about that. Just the apparel mix in the house has changed. There's a time where you did not have separate sports apparel. I don't think there's anybody in this room who does not have separate sports apparel for some part of their life. They go jogging or they go do like whatever it is, or even if they buy a jersey to wear in the IPL match, that is also happening.
I'll just share something. So yesterday only, my grandson is 2.5 years old. He was in his football jersey, 2.5 years old, in his football jersey, football gear, going where. I asked him, where are you going? Football, sir, he's telling me. 2.5-year-old kid going to a class to play football. So that is the mindset. And he's wearing his football jersey, his football shorts.
So that has changed. It's become a part of life.
Absolutely.
So before we end, there's one question I want to ask you. What advice would you give to two sets of people? The next generation of sports entrepreneurs and even investors in India who are looking at the business of sport?
So, first let me go towards the segment where we are talking of investors in the segment of sports. What has happened is that suddenly there's been an euphoric rise in various leagues coming up, and as a result everyone is wanting to be part of that ecosystem of being an investor in some league. But what has happened is that it needs a little time. A sports franchise of any nature is not something that can give you return overnight. It'll take a little time. So you will have to be a little patient, but it'll be very, very rewarding. It'll have an exponential growth at some stage, maybe 2 years, maybe 5 years, maybe 7 years. So, but look at investing over the medium plus term and not something that you buy today and sell tomorrow. And secondly, you were saying that sports as a...
For entrepreneurs and for people who are not really investors at this point of time, what should they be looking as opportunity?
So the opportunity for India is 90-10, 90 towards cricket, 10 towards the rest of the sports. So any venture that you do in the cricketing arena is poised to have a success ratio which is far greater than anything else. So yes, if you get an opportunity which is there from the cricketing world, please do grab it for sure.
We already made the third empire a technologist, correct? Or a technology,
Yes.
for that matter, correct?
Sure. Just to give a little insight, today every IPL franchise, every club has a minimum of 4 to 6 analysts whose entire job is to analyze ball by ball what happened in the 7th over, what happened in the 5th over, what happened in the last over of the power play, and what happened in the over after power play, who should come in. It is science, it's analysis. No more, oh, no, let's give this ball to this guy to bowl. No more like that. It is planned. Every move is planned. Okay, this batsman is there. This batsman's weakness is this. You do this. See the last 10 videos of how he got out. So the amount of analysis that these guys do is, I mean, staggering. 6 guys. In Lucknow, LSG, we have 4 guys and they are taking 2 more.
Well, that's where entrepreneurs go, correct? But as you leave, Utsav bhai, you've done football, you did cricket. What's coming next? Sneak peek? Is there some shares we can buy before you invest in them? Some sneak peek?
No, at the moment, there's nothing on the anvil. But the passion of football really carries me through the passion of cricket. Lucknow is owned by my very dear friend, so I try to kind of go in without anything, but still I would like to be part of that franchisee. So I enjoy that. I enjoy sports, and therefore I make it a habit to be around.
Thank you, Utsav. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your insight. I think there's a lot people have learned today, and I hope we'll see some startups come out of here, and maybe in the next TiECON you'll talk about that breakfast moment that we talked about. Thank you very much.
Thank you, PK. Thank you, everyone, for listening to me. I hope you had a little insight on what sports is all about. Thank you once again.
Right from the mathematics and the figures involved in the business of sports to the consumer behavior and the insights thereafter. Thank you so much. And special thanks to you, Prashant, for bringing out such a useful discussion out of Mr. Parekh. May I now invite Mr. Jatin Trivedi, TiE Global Board of Trustee, to present the memento to our panelists. I can't help but recall that 8 children from my pada, they stuff themselves into our SUV every Saturday and Sunday and go to their cricket club. And when you mentioned that everybody is looking at sports as a serious business, consumer behavior says a lot. Consumer behavior around us says a lot about it. तालियां थोड़ी कम सुनाई दे रही हैं. There are enough people in the room to make some noise. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, sir, for that compliment. Means a lot.